everybody. Danny and Mike here, your QSS hosts for another Quit Sugar Summit Live. We do these every 2 weeks. We're having so much fun doing this. And today we're trying a brand new software because we've been having some tech problems if you watched last week's video. So I'm just going to be double checking here that we are in fact live on the Facebook page. So Mike, why don't you take it away? How you doing, Mike? How's your week been?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm glad you're doing that because I wouldn't know how to check that.
Yes, we're live. I can see it. We're live.
We're live. We're
yes,
live. Hello, everybody. How am I doing? I'm doing very, very well. A lot of folks ask me how COVID was treating me and the election and that kind of stuff. My life hasn't changed too much over the years because I've been working from home for so many years, but this election stuff has thrown a little bit of a curveball. It's I try and see, like, folks get frustrated, they get worried, they get hurt and anxious and nervous about what's going on in the world. But man, I think you gotta be more. Is that a word? Sanguine? You've got to be more relaxed about it.
I don't know, but we can make up words. I've made up plenty of words.
You gotta just. That can't affect what your own inner peace, I guess, because the world's going to go on just the way it was. So.
Yeah, I have so many of those conversations this week too, and for those who don't know, I'm up here in Canada, so we're not immune to everything that obviously you guys are going through. The world is affected by what's going on, but I've been sending so much love and thoughts. I mean, all of my clients are really struggling this week with all of that. So, but I love what you said. I'm glad we do get to choose. Like, are we going to let external forces, like things that we can't control, right? And the fact is, the more you worry, the more you stress, it doesn't change the outcome. So it's such a waste of your energy and your happiness.
I got a question for you. You think what came first, the chicken or the egg? Do you think people that are trying to get off the sugar, because this is pretty famous for causing anxiety, that they're and this has happened during the COVID thing, I mean, candy sales are up, sugar sales are up, everything is up. And people are, at least in my practice, and I'm sure in yours, people are coming in and saying, like, I gained 20 pounds and just from the lockdown. And so they're using the product because they're overwhelmed for money and rent and, work. And then, like, if the folks that are off it are kind of more steady, so it's like, which came first, right?
Well, I think the first one, like, at least what I'm seeing, especially with my clients and even in my life, like this, it's almost like this sense of our centeredness or our, like, being ungrounded, right? When we don't feel connected to ourselves, when we don't feel, we can get real deep, right? When we don't feel worthy, we don't feel like we're enough, like all these core beliefs. Our identity is based off of all these external factors. We become really kind of disjointed. And then when things like COVID or the crazy elections or earthquakes or fires, happen, those really rock our inner core, right? And when we become really disconnected and ungrounded, we look for food or alcohol or whatever to soothe or to bring that comfort or to, obviously we've been trained to numb out like that. So,
that's exactly what I was asking is, like, it's the management system we've used since the womb. We're like, we're a little nervous, we grab a little sugar. We're a little worried, we got to go into a meeting, whatever, and we use the sugar. And then when it's gone or you try to get off it, you don't have that one crutch or that one tool. Let's call it a tool instead of a crutch. And, you got to learn to take a walk or go to yoga or something. You've got to relearn how to manage those stressors that used to be handled with this substance. So it's kind of, it's like balancing like I said, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And I think once people, I don't know if this happens to you, but once people get that, once that part of the equation, like, sinks in, like, they hear it and they hear it and they hear it. Like, we keep repeating it. They hear it. And then finally, you can see literally the light bulb go off. Yeah. And then exactly. And then now look, the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 is kind of rough because you're almost like bare to the world. You're naked to the world emotionally because you can't really use this product. So you got to figure out, damn, I got to go to the gym or I got to go run. I got to walk or something different. I got to get a hug or, call a friend.
You're trying to repattern something that's been patterned for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, right? And that's
for sure.
It's a tricky one, but it's, it's just that beginning part like you're talking about, right? Oh man, there's so much. And I just want to say hi to everyone watching live. We can see you guys. Say hi in the comments below. Let us know if you have any questions. Actually, you know, that's what we're here for. I'm going to throw this up. Look at this. Look at what we can do. How cool is this? So let us know, you know, what questions you have about sugar, about health, about life, about anything. You know, obviously, Mike and I want to also use these lives and these chats to share a little bit behind the scenes of our lives as well. I think it's really important to know, you know, that we're still growing, that we're still learning, that, you know, life is, you know, a wild ride for us too. So what's going on for me this week that may be of interest to you guys? Well, actually last week, and this is a big topic, another conversation, but I took myself away from my quarterly solo retreat, I call it, which is such an act of self-love and self-care for me that I've started doing a couple years ago. And now it's like a mandatory part of my life. It's just like the most powerful way that I've ever kind of been able to grow and connect with myself, just stepping back from it all. And all the answers are already within us, everyone. But when we kind of need to step away from social media and our to-do list to actually start hearing them. So that was a powerful experience. And I wrote something really powerful that I was talking with Mike about before this. I'll share here on this page. I think will really resonate with a lot of you. And the other update for me in life, I know I haven't talked a lot about it, but the renos. So we've actually just moved at the beginning of October, and we've moved into my sister-in-law's rental house, and it was bare bones. And we have been renovating the whole thing from scratch. We painted all these walls, we put these floors in. This room is the clean room in the house. The rest is like mayhem construction zone. And it's actually really interesting. I think a lot of you can relate to this. You know, I mean, that's just extra ungroundedness, by the way, in my life that I'm dealing with. You know, like the mess, don't get me started. But we don't have a kitchen. So we do have a fridge and a stove. But for the last month, we've been doing dishes in the bathtub. And we have not had counters. I've been using a table and my kitchen table and a makeshift table with all of our things on it. And it's been really interesting for me even to observe how that changes my motivation and energy for actually cooking healthy meals. I'm really impressed with how well I've done. Like I've done really good, but there have been times where forget it, let's just order takeout. And you know, that's the moderation and balance that I welcome in my life. But it's been really interesting, and it's such a good reminder I wanted to share with all of you, you know, the things that you can do to set yourself up for success when you're in reno mode or on vacation, or, you know, when things kind of get crazy and ungrounded. And this is why, you know, I rely so much. I'm so grateful for my meal planning habit and making sure I always have, you know, things stocked in the freezer that I can pull out for emergencies. But yeah, it's been wild. I was just telling Mike before we went live that by the end of today, we will have a kitchen sink. Ben is out there right now. Actually, last night we were up late cutting it. We have to measure 700 times and then cut, right? Because boy, if you do that wrong, there goes the counter piece, right? So it's been a lot of learning, but a lot of fun as well. We're doing IKEA kitchen. So we're building it all from scratch. I'm sharing the whole story, you know, in my Instagram stories for anyone who wants to follow along with all the renos, but it's taken a lot longer than we expected. I mean, it's been a month, and just today we're going to get a sink. So today's a big celebration day. We'll be doing lots of dishes in the kitchen just because. So yeah, that's kind of the big updates in my life. It's a wild ride, and such for me, like some serious growth and learning to just stay grounded and calm and happy and not get, you know, in the past when the world is kind of turning and things are a mess and unorganized, you know, I would get really cranky and, you know, short-tempered and all these things. But no doubt, obviously, looking after my health and my mental health and all the inner work that I'm doing has really, really paid off in that. I'm grateful for that, for sure. We're both insane and we're actually having fun. Believe it or not, I actually thought about, way back when we started, I thought about starting a YouTube channel called IKEA versus Relationship. Who will win? So many people thought, well, how are you guys going to still be together after this? But we've actually really had fun because we've chosen, I mean, we've both done a lot of mindset work, right? We get to choose to show up for each other and also acknowledge, you know, when we need space. I think that's an important one. But yeah, wow. So lots going on this week. Yeah, lots going on.
I've been through that. I actually have. And it wasn't good for the relationship. Let me put it to you that way. We you know, I used to renovate houses for a living at one point in my life. Yeah. And we, you know, I always wanted to buy a nicer house for myself, and twice I was in that situation where I was washing the dishes in the bathtub, I mean, it was really just not fun for, like a good solid 30 or more days while the whole thing's getting fixed, right? And, it's like the cop, what is that thing where the shoemaker's got no shoes for his kids or whatever?
Right.
It's like, I'm really I'm not working on my own house, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
of course.
That doesn't go well with the relationship, so.
Yeah.
But recently I'm a little bit more settled, and we have I don't know if I ever even told you, but we our place looks over the Pacific Ocean. It's like it's pretty calm.
Oh, wow.
I can hear the waves in the morning. So it's
that's the dream. Yeah, I grew up near the beach, and I love that, the sound of the ocean. Whew, so powerful. But you have to share a photo of that. We need to see your view.
Okay. Well, my view, like right over this computer, would kind of blow your mind.
Yeah, you guys want to see his view? Can you turn your camera around?
No, not this one. I'll get you a picture next time.
You're locked in there. Yeah.
Well, there's so many wires running this thing. I got the microphone. I got the connection to the other monitor. It's like to me to turn it around would be like. But I will. I'll show you back.
We never get you back around the other way.
I'll get it set up so that I can do that.
Cool. So let's dive in. I think today I was chatting with Mike a bit before. We're hearing, both of us are hearing so much, not about the elections, about COVID, but about the holiday season, right? There's so much coming up, and I honestly didn't realize how dreaded the holiday season was by so many people. And I've started obviously having a lot more of these conversations over the last 2 years. That every time, actually, just the other day, I posted in my Facebook group that I run, and I just said, share kind of how you're feeling about the holiday season, and everybody's meme or GIFs or whatever they're called was something like stressed or worried or like this face, right? And I was like, wow, okay, people are dreading this. And I think, this is why I kind of wanted to dive into this with you today, Mike. I think everyone watching, we'd love to actually know from you, are the holidays something that are stressful for you? And how to get through that. So I thought maybe, Mike, we could have a bit of a conversation, because obviously we want to support all of you heading in, whether you're, 100, sugar-free right now and you need some support, or you're wanting to find a way to, not go overboard during the seasons. I mean, obviously we're all at a different place, but I think this is a crazy time of year. There's a lot that comes up, a lot of triggers, right? And expectations and obligations and the memories. I had a client remind me yesterday, I mean, the holidays just brings back those memories, and memories are a huge trigger, right? For a lot of us, reaching for food and connecting with somebody who maybe has passed or from childhood or things like that. So what do you do for the holidays to stay, Mike? I think people would love to hear that from you, in terms of
in the early days when the kids would come and I had a house where the kids would come, I literally would turn off all the lights and go in the back for Halloween. but you're 100% right. Is that no? I would. I mean, I literally locked myself in the den. We turn the lights off too, by the way. We don't do Halloween. Yeah, no, it's like. But what I found is, actually having gone through already Halloween, I call it the hat trick. You would, as a Canadian, would know what that means. But that's 3 goals, 3 hockey goals. I've
those myself, by the way.
Right. We're talking Halloween, Thanksgiving here. You already had your Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving and Christmas here. So we've got one down for the hat trick, and we've got Thanksgiving and Christmas. But during Halloween, I was surprised. People with 30, 60, 90, some people as many as 300 days, 250, 300 days of no sugar, they're nervous, right? So here somebody's got 6, 8, 10 months. They've never gone through this holiday season, right? And they're a little bit nervous. I actually had some people fall out, I don't want to call it that way, but they wanted to do what I call research and development. They wanted to see, well, let me see if I can have a little of this candy, right? Yeah. And it put them on a little bit of a run. They woke up a little depressed. They gained a few pounds, whatever. And so, we can save you that little trip and try. And one of the things we're going to institute, and I think I fell down on it at Halloween, is we kind of have to get some kind of buddy system for the holidays. You know what I mean? Some kind of way where people that are, trying to get off sugar can communicate with each other more, and really have somebody. I always tell people, I swear, go in the bathroom and text somebody, go in the bathroom and get on Facebook and say, these people are crazy. All they're eating is freaking, everyone is passed out watching football because they've all eaten all this crap,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you just need, because we're in the early days of this, and probably, I know this happens to you, is like, folks, like, they're the only one in the family. They're they got the kids, they still got to have Halloween for, they got to have a pie for, they got relatives and stuff, and they're the only one in the family. Sometimes they're the cook, and they've got to suffer through this kind of sugar-soaked stuff, right? And so it's hard, and you need support. You just need support. So
what do you do, Mike? Like, actual tip wise, like that people, because I know you can speak to, I can speak to sort of the freedom moderation side, and you can speak to obviously being sugar-free 100% for the holidays and everyone doing that, which is incredible. What kind of tips or advice could you give that would really support people through that who are, say, sugar-free right now and wanting and intending to stay sugar-free over the holidays?
Number one is eat before you go. Number two is you can have a meal or have a healthy something. And look, I don't know, all Thanksgiving and Christmas type dinners have lots of portions of them that are sugar-free. Turkey, vegetables, whatever. Lots of things that you can eat, and always bring your side dish or something you want. Or, if you're preparing it, prepare stuff that would, other people will eat it too. They, we're talking, like I say, turkey and vegetables and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have that plan, and you have to plan. I mean, it's like every day you have, it's just another day, and you have to plan the event. Like, even though there is extra, quote unquote, pies and cakes and cookies and snacks, you want to plan, you want to be, there is an eternal vigilance that's required at the beginning, your first one through, right? And I do want to future pace the folks and tell them that, look, sooner or later, a year or two in, your family and your friends, they'll be your supporters. Weight loss is hard to hide. Clearer skin is hard to hide, right? Mm-hmm. And so people, like, they say, oh, no, like somebody will offer it to them, and then like the other person will jump in and say, no, she doesn't eat sugar. He doesn't eat sugar, whatever.
Or maybe they're not eating it anymore either, right? Like the ripple effect is incredible.
Right. And the last thing is, like, honest to God, people are more worried about what other people are going to think about what they're doing, right? They quit drinking. Great. Good job. They quit smoking. Great. Good job. They say, I'm quitting sugar. They're like, what? Why?
Are you crazy?
But after that happens, people are like, they don't even, it's not in their conscience. They're not thinking about you. I guarantee it. They're not thinking about you. And you realize that, you could have gone, it was more in your head than it was in their brain, that in this social, this socialization that, but I gotta tell you, there are food pushers, there are sweets pushers, and you gotta be ready for them. You gotta have the polite responses ready, like, no, I don't. I always like the little white lie, little fib. No, I can't have sugar. The doctor told me I can't. Which most doctors that like we have on the summit, they'll tell you they can't, right?
Yeah.
So there's plenty. We got plenty of doctors that can write you a note. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that one, Mike. That's so important. And for everyone watching this, like, thinking ahead, right, to what is that thing that you're going to be able to say at the party, at the family gathering, that doesn't pass judgment on anyone else, because they're dealing with all that, right? As soon as you say, oh, sugar is disgusting, I don't eat that, they feel judged. So being careful of your language, right? And just standing in your own, like, decision. And I'm with you, Mike. I've helped some of my clients as well do that. Like, find that little white, lie, or that line that just is authentic and feels natural and doesn't invite more questions, right?
You want to know a dead stopper? You want to know a dead stopper? You say,
yeah, I'm sure.
I'm pre-diabetic and I can't have sugar, right? And they would be right, like 40% of the time, because 40% of people in the United States are pre-diabetic and don't know it.
Yeah.
So they would be like, and if they're eating a lot of sugar, I guarantee they're pre-diabetic.
Yeah. I love this one. It's reminding me of, I cannot remember what movie it's from, but it's about drinking, and it's someone didn't want to drink and she just said, it's probably a Friends quote. By the way, you guys got to learn this about me. I've watched Friends, the show. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Mike, like 100 times. I could quote the whole thing. It's probably from there, but she just says, nah, thank you. I'm still drunk from yesterday. So using that, like, nah, I'm still suffering from yesterday's sugar hangover, right? Thank you, but no thank you, right? Like, who's going to argue with that? So, but I think just arming yourself with what feels natural for you, like to say that doesn't invite, too much conversation and just helps you kind of stay in your zone, right?
You're right on there because, when you make it light, when you make it funny, when you make, and there are some things you can practice, comedians practice, right? They're not just automatic.
That's what mirrors are for.
They got a routine, man. They got and when I used to go on the Tonight Show, you had to have 7 minutes or 12 minutes and you had to have it down. You couldn't just make it up. And so you have these little quips that come back, like you said, I got a sugar hangover from yesterday. I can't,
I'm taking it easy today. I'm still sugar hungover from yesterday, right? Helena in the comments. I just want to point out what you're saying, right? Because this is so common. People say, this is what Helena's saying, right? Come on, it's just one. It's just the holidays. That whole conversation around come on, join the fun, right? And that I don't know what your thoughts are, but I see that as people, as we do that, right? People don't want to do bad things alone. We need to almost gang together. So if you're standing there saying, no, I don't want one. And they're going, wait a second, she's not on my team. How do I get her on my team?
And let's go a little deeper than that. People are thinking they want you in, like you said, they want you part of it, but they have to then start to look at their own sugar stuff.
Yes. And that's the biggest piece.
They're they have if they have to confirm or they have to accept that you're not using it, then they have to think to themselves, now why? She seems like an intelligent person, nice person.
What am I doing?
Why am I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's the big one.
And that's unconscious for them. And they would rather, like you say, bring you onto the team. And here's the thing too. I don't think people are being mean. If you left the tribe 300, 400, 500 years ago, you could die. You had to stay within that nuclear tribe, that small family tribe, that group tribe, right? And we were all brought up with this for 10 generations, 300 years with all this sugar. And it's just part of the family lore, history, myth. And so when you change from that group, you automatically they're afraid for you. They think that you're going to do something that's not going to be good for you because you're different than them, right? And that's where the support comes in. That's the support of a new tribe, a different tribe that is doing that.
Yeah, so good. I mean, I think it's important for all of us when you're going on this journey, right, to put yourself in that other person's shoes. And we're talking about some of the deep stuff that goes on subconsciously. People feel attacked. I always kind of use the vegan carnivore example because I think people can really relate with that, right? If you come into your family and you say, all of a sudden I've decided to be vegan, right? People are afraid you're going to die. What about B12, right? They panic and they also feel on a total subconscious level, they feel well, wait a second, is there something wrong with what I'm doing? And then they start second guessing themselves and being insecure about it. And they start feeling oh, is she judging me for eating meat now that she's vegan, right? Or is she judging me for eating sugar 100%. Now that, so it's almost by taking that stand, you have to know that you're going to ruffle some feathers, but at the same time, that's also going to be the ripple effect, right? Standing up, and this is the movement that Mike and I are creating, and everyone that's on the summit, obviously. And when we stand up for what we're doing for ourselves, it gives other people permission to start looking at themselves, and that can be really difficult. People don't want to look at themselves. People do not want to look at them, look inside. And this is actually had this deep conversation with my client yesterday, right? What is the fear that's coming up around starting to peel the layers of that onion back that is yourself, and can be really tricky. So I think that's a good one, bringing some fun into those situations and lightness and make a joke or whatever, but also stand in your own, right? Don't let anybody talk you into something because they're they're dealing with their own struggles, right? And they're just wanting you to have fun. So maybe even having a rebuttal, Helena, as you were saying, right? The people that are saying, come on, it's just one, just have one. It's the holidays. Maybe spend some time right now before all of it really starts and thinking about what you'll say to that comment, right? Maybe you can say something like, yeah, I know, but I want to feel amazing on January 1st instead of like a bag of CRMP like I do every year. So no, not this year. Or I don't know, you could come up with something that kind of, feels right to you. But I think I'm loving that we're having this conversation. I think that's one of the biggest things to support, and just planning ahead, like Mike said, having this plan, for these situations, for what you're going to say, for what you're going to do, what you're going to eat, what you're going to cook, right? Is really a way to kind of set yourself up for success, instead of, what normally happens, we kind of fall into the holidays. Like, I can't believe it's already November myself. And before you know it, you're in this tornado and you're like, oh, I have no idea what to do, because you haven't kind of mentally prepped in advance. So such an important one.
Yeah, the socialization part is just strange. When I first started doing this, I never believed that would be such a big part of it, but it really is. I mean, it's just, ingrained in the culture so much that it's almost assumed that this is okay, and you do it. You can give it to a baby, no worries, nothing illegal. Yeah. And so, it's like, the more I do it, the more I see that folks are, they're tortured by their relationships with others when they try and change it. Exactly like you're saying, they're like, they get worried and anxious that people won't like them, or they think they're doing something wrong, or whatever. So it's hard, and it really genuinely is hard. The more I hear about that, and a lot of times I heard a story, about a year ago. She had like 4 or 5 months off sugar. She had lost like 40 pounds. She was doing well, and a lot of other benefits. Her skin had cleared up and stuff. Yeah. And one of her friend's spouses died, right? And she went after the funeral and stuff. They had lunch, and now here's a woman 4 or 5 months in, and she just couldn't bear to bring up the conversation. Yeah, the woman wanted to celebrate with a treat, and so then she just said, just gave in and said okay. And afterwards she kind of regained her traction, but it was just really difficult for her to give that, to have that conversation, to be accepted for who she was and the decisions that she had made, and just went with the culture or the desire of the friend, and didn't bring up the subject. So it's really difficult, and that's just an extreme example, but it happens every day in families when the husband says, put away the record book, dear, it's been 30 days, you look great, you lost 20 pounds, let's go out and have some ice cream or whatever. So and they get it's hard, especially within a relationship or close family thing, to be different. I mean, we all talk about it. It all sounds like a personal development Tony Robbins seminar where, being different, you're going to be a little different, and
embrace it. It's fun.
Exactly. I find that in general, the people that are success, or those kind of folks, I don't know if you found this, they're like, they got a little rebel in them anyway. If you trace them back to their history or whatever, in their family, in their school, and whatever, their athletics, they're a little bit of a rebel anyway, and they don't really care as much about what others think if it's works for them, Yeah. So it's an interesting thing that's developed, a little pattern that's developed. I've seen my rebels there.
For sure.
Yeah.
So coming back to some tips, I have a few things that might be supportive. Like, I think we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but one of the biggest things that I see going on the holiday. Okay, first of all, this holiday season is going to be weird, right? I guess that's a good way to describe it. It's going to be different. It's not going to look like last year's holiday season. And I actually have some clients looking forward to that, because they're like, oh, I don't have to go to any family obligations. I have an easy out. No, I have to stay home because of COVID, right? So, hey, if that's you and that's going to be your easy out, take it, right? Do it. Yeah. It really does come down to this whole, like you talked about with the tribe as well. Like, we all have this people-pleasing piece of us, right? We want others to like us. We actually need, on a biological level, like, to fit in. And these patterns start really showing up around the holidays, right? There's all these pressures, all these expectations to buy gifts for everybody and their secretary, to buy, to go to every single dinner, to say yes to every party. And what I want to share with all of you today is that you can say no to all of that. Like you can choose to, and this is really so powerful when I started doing this. And actually, I'll share a story with you, because it wasn't until I met Ben and learned that his family don't do Christmas gifts. And I was like, are you crazy? What's wrong with you? You're mean. You're horrible people. And it turns out what they actually do is love giving throughout the year when they are actually inspired and see something for that person. And it's amazing. I mean, his family is the most generous family I've ever met. But the pressure that we put around ourselves to have to buy gifts, that's something that took me a couple years to actually get okay with. And now it's like the best decision I've ever made. I had to tell my family to get them on board. I don't do gifts. I'd like to spend time together. That's what the holiday is about for me. So we kind of removed that. I mean, the kids still get gifts, but from their parents, not from everybody. So it's been really interesting kind of removing that pressure and observing how much that actually just drained not only my bank account, but my energy, and added to my stress levels and my stress eating, back in the day. So I give you permission to rethink what our society does, because for me, and I'm just sharing for me, obviously for all of us, it's very different around the gift topic, but for me, giving should be something that I want to do, not something I'm obligated to do, and something that I'm actually inspired to, I'm thinking of that person, they're really going to love this, not, oh my God, I have to find something for this person. So there's just a different mindset behind it for me, and giving gifts throughout the year and doing different things, not based off of societal obligation, but I mean, this is the rebel in me for sure. That helps with that. But I just encourage you to rethink kind of what's going on there for you, and give yourself permission. You don't have to engage in all of those traditional societal. You get to create the type of holiday season that you want. You can create, it can be as relaxed or as busy as you want. You can say no to family dinners. You can say no, and that's the most radical act of self-care, if you ever ask me, saying no when you're just drained because you've had a busy, week. You don't have to go out Friday night. You don't have to have people over. You can cancel plans, like all these radical things. When you can practice doing it with finesse and really standing in your own, it actually gives people around you permission to do that as well. And I've seen that in my friends and family circle, as nope, sorry, next week doesn't work for me. Let's maybe try the following week, right? It's really interesting. And I know it's terrifying for a lot of people, even talking about this, but just start small, and just reflect on what things are actually fun for you to do. Or is it going to be enjoyable for you to go to that person's house for dinner, or to have those people over? And if not, you don't have to do it. You have my permission. You can say, Coach Danny told me I could say no.
You're nailing it on the head there. It's the craziest thing that a lot of people do need someone to give them permission. That's weird. It's very
Mike
weird.
and I are here to give you all the permissions you need. But
I give you permission to do what you feel is best for you. You know what I mean? To live your path, right? Be you. And again, I don't sound like a rah-rah motivational speaker, but
why not?
At the bottom line, this is a personal growth process, right? This is a change process that hopefully, why would you do it if you didn't think you'd be better on the other side, And the tie to substance use disorder, the tie to, eating addiction, food addiction, sugar addiction. That's all well and good. But at the core of it, it is you trying to get better as a person. That's another trait of the rebels, right? It's like they are trying to get better as a person. And sometimes they need someone different than the group that they hang with to give them permission. Someone that they respect, someone they've seen do it, someone that they've seen get positive results from it. Mm-hmm. So, it's very...
We're here to do that.
And I like doing it too. And I was surprised that it was needed. That was a revelation of mine. It was like, people really do need that. I got to admit, I needed it. I still need it, for God's sake. I mean, I think it's an important thing that you seek out people that will accept you and give you permission to do the thing that you feel through your research, through your feelings, through your thought process, through your past behaviors, past failures that you want to do to change you, right? And so,
totally. Two other quick things I want to point out is I know this kind of came in what we were chatting about earlier. It's a conversation I've had a lot with my clients the week before they go sugar-free. There's all the fears, right? But I want to talk about beliefs. I know we talk about this a lot. I'm always all about all the foundational deep work. So when we actually look at our beliefs, even going into the holiday season, okay, right now, most of you, hydrate, I got tea. Most of you are believing that being sugar-free or eating healthy during the holidays is going to be friggin' hard. Okay, that is your belief that you have right now. It might sound different to you. Obviously, let us know actually below. What is your belief about the holidays, about staying healthy over the holidays? And I want to turn that on its head and actually challenge you to choose a new belief. And this is actually something that I did when we moved. I had an old belief where moving is super stressful and mayhem. And I actually consciously chose that moving was actually going to be fun and an adventure. And it was really fascinating to see how that changed my whole experience. So when you're thinking of those negative beliefs about, being sugar-free or, moderating my sugar or eating healthy or looking after myself this holiday season is going to be impossible. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be time consuming, whatever story you're telling yourself, and then choose a new one and just see what happens. Like repeating that to yourself every day, staying healthy and off of sugar over the holidays is effortless. It's going to be easy. It's actually going to be really fun because it's going to allow me to focus on the other joys of the holiday and actually be more present and engaged with my family. And it's going to make me feel incredible. Like, what if you chose to believe that instead? And I want to really plant that seed. And I think this is a good way as we start to sort of wrap this up. But, as the biggest sort of support in choosing the belief you want to have about either, abstaining from sugar or, staying as healthy in moderation for you, whatever your, goal is. Obviously, we all have different ways of handling that. But, what do you want it to look like? And I think when we make that intention and repeat that to ourselves and reconnect with that on a daily basis heading into the holidays, it really drastically shifts our experience. I mean, I just did that for myself and I was shocked at how great it actually turned out. The whole move that could have been so stressful because we had a lot going on, but we're having fun. And we're having fun because we're choosing to. So our mindset is so powerful. And I want to encourage all of you to choose a new mindset around this, right? And around heading into the holiday season.
Great tip. It's I learned really early on, very early on, like in my teens in sports and stuff, that visualization is just an amazing tool where you can visualize the future that you want, And that really changed a lot for me. I mean, it was, and I've read some really good books on it, and The Secret, Think and Grow Rich, all of these types of things are based on deep visualization, actual deep feeling and seeing your life at 20, 30 pounds less, your life at, clearer skin and no brain
manifestation fog. 101, right?
Yeah, manifestation 101. And I don't want to get woo woo because this summit is a lot about hard science. But I think
they both can live together, though.
I believe that. I do.
That's how our world works. Yeah.
But people don't want to talk about it. But visualization has brought me amazing things in my life. Like I'm living a dream right now that I visualized 10 years ago, and whatever. Yeah. And I've done that a bunch of times. So I think that I know it can be a powerful tool. And what I found is like a lot of people don't even know this is a thing. They don't even know that they can visualize a better future for themselves. They're so busy head down, doing whatever they do every day. They don't think about it, looking over the horizon just a little bit.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Thanks for sharing that, Mike. That's been big for me too. Like so powerful. Like my meditation practice, more specifically, it was what, really fueled my whole journey, right? It was the start for me, really learning to tune in. And this is what I'm always talking about, right? Like whether it's visualizations or meditation or some sort of way for you to connect to yourself, this is a big piece of the journey. And as you head into the holidays, I know so many people feeling ungrounded and a lot of people not knowing what their plans are going to be over the holidays, right? The more you can focus on, what you want it to look like, what you want it to feel like, the better off you're going to be in all of this. So a couple things that I do just as we wrap up, I thought would be helpful. And actually, I'd love to hear actually, Mike, what you're up to for the holidays. We're actually, and I'm blessed and grateful to live where I do. We're actually got the first week of December going away for a family. We've rented cabins up in the snow. We're going away for a family getaway sort of the first week of December. And then we don't really have plans for Christmas, which is like, we've got a family that's pretty like, we just kind of wing it, which is wonderful. There's usually dinner at somebody's house or, you know, something going on. But other than that, I got no plans. And I'm just going to go with the flow. And I think for me, that's a really big support. In the past, and I think a lot of you, you know, watching this could really relate. You know, I used to schedule myself to the T, like this, and I've just totally stepped back, and now I just choose. And I think the best question any of us can ask ourselves is, you know, am I saying yes, or am I doing this for me or for someone else, right? Like, is me saying yes to this, you know, for me or for someone else? And I think that's such a powerful kind of check-in. So that's kind of my plans. I don't have much going on. And then in terms of, for me, staying healthy, I mean, I do, and you guys all know, I still do moderate with sugar. I love my relationship with sugar, my healthy relationship with sugar and the moderation. So what I usually do is plan ahead for, okay, I'm gonna bake one batch of cookies, or I'm gonna do the, you know, I kind of really have nice guidelines around that. And I also really focus on hydrating and really focusing on downtime. So lots of rest, lots of self-care. I even really kind of up my focus on intermittent fasting as well over the holidays, just to really make sure that my body's being supported, and continuing to work on, you know, eating normal portion sizes, you know, all these things that are kind of just effortless and conscious for me, that focus on over the holidays, moving my body, even if it's a walk, right? As it's getting really cold here, it's kind of becoming a lot harder to run in the morning because it's pitch dark, but walks are really, really good. But I think just slowing down is a message that I want to share for all of you watching, right? Slowing down, tuning in, understanding that there's going to be some, you know, ungroundedness this season, lots of things coming up for you, and just allow yourself, like if you watched our last 2 weeks ago, right? Allow yourself to sit with those emotions that come up, and honor, you know, what the holidays is for you, and decide what you want it to look like. So hopefully that's helpful. A couple things. What are you up to for the holidays?
I like the no plans thing. My partner is a planner babe, just like you. Like, that's her nickname for me, you know. Yeah. And she's got it scheduled. I mean, her family's around here. Mine's back east, but her mother passed away, so it's going to be a little different, and we really don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. My boys can't make it. They're, you know, obviously can't fly or whatever. And so it's going to be different, and we don't have any plans either, and it's great. Yeah. And one of the things I wanted to say when you were talking, I remember, and it's something I'm working on, but, you know, I probably am cursed with a little bit of workaholism kind of thing, and, you know, not mostly in my brain. Like I don't think I'm the best executor in the world, so I'm not always consistent, but I never shut my damn brain off, right? I never, and the weirdest thing happens on holidays is somehow I've just given myself, it doesn't even happen on Saturdays or Sundays, but it does happen on holidays, real holidays, Thanksgiving or Christmas, where my brain just is somehow okay with not thinking about work or to-dos or whatever, you know? And
so you've given yourself the permission. It's like society gives you that permission over the holidays, right?
It's back to the permission thing. You know, society has said, nobody's going to do anything anyway. You can't do anything. So why think about it? And somehow I'm trying to extend that maybe to Sundays, you know, to like once a week or whatever. Yeah. And so, you know, and I'm getting better at it, but it's still, but so I like, and I'm a real famous, my parents were interesting. I mean, they raised doing nothing to a high art. I'm not kidding.
Oh yeah, like they were really good at that. Like
my father was retired longer. My father was retired longer than he worked, and he did nothing for like 25 or 30 years. He was just nothing, and it was like my mother was right behind him, and after she retired. And it was just, I got this ethos that, you know, when I would visit them, it's actually seductive as hell. Like they, you know, things focus around what's for lunch, what's for dinner, you know, and you're really not worried about a whole bunch more. And it's it's nice to turn your brain off a little like that.
It's important. And what you're touching on right now, we can have another hour-long conversation on, but I just want to give 2 bits because this is huge. This is something that I really still struggle with too, Mike, especially being an entrepreneur, especially running my own business, right? I've got clients. Like I'm always like, ooh, what if they need me? Or there's an email, right? But having that downtime or stepping back and finding that balance is so vital. And this is why I do those solo retreats. Like I've started doing that to step away and to practice, like taking Sundays off or taking, which I don't do right now because I've got my group calls on Sundays, but one day a week. Actually, tomorrow is Saturday is my day a week, and it's still not always perfect. It's definitely a work in progress. So I want to relate with you on that, Mike. It's one of the curses of being so passionate about what you're doing. And obviously, we've shared with you guys, we're in it planning the next Quit Sugar Summit too. So there's that always kind of on the go. But this is one of the things, and like I said, this is a much bigger topic, but I just want to point this out for any of you watching so you can just start being aware maybe in your own life. I've seen with a lot of my clients, especially recently, that being just another numbing out technique. I know it's not that for you and I, Mike, and there's other reasons as well, but for a lot of people, it's the working, doing, always staying busy so you don't have to look at yourself. And you don't have to do the things, right? And it's the same reason we reach for food or alcohol, we numb out, or distract ourselves from the feeling, the thoughts, the actual truth of what's going on. So just something to be aware of for yourself and just start reflecting on maybe this week, are you working because you don't know how to sit with yourself or because being in stillness with yourself is terrifying, and actually maybe leaning into that a little bit and asking sort of why that is. This is a big topic. I know I shouldn't have started that, but shouldn't have started as we're wrapping up. But
people are reconfiguring how they look at a lot of things when they do that. When they make a change as big as sugar and diet in their life, they're looking at a lot of things, and this plays right into it. So.
Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we hope that was really helpful, everyone. We're obviously biting at the bit for the next video already. In 2 weeks, we'll be right back here, same time, same place. And sharing, maybe more conversation around holidays coming up. Please, if you're watching this, replay later, post below, as I had kind of the question up on the screen. Like, we'd love to know what challenges you're facing as you head into the holidays, because then we can help. That's what we're here to do. We can speak to them. We can support you on our next live. We'd love to hear your questions and what you're struggling with, so we can help you with that. So
it and share it. Please, it helps the old Facebook algorithm. So
talking about Facebook. The biggest thing that you can all do to help us spread this message is share this video and actually comment more than like. Facebook doesn't really care about likes, I don't think. They want comments.
They want comments, for sure.
They want comments and shares. So that would be so helpful. Obviously, get more people over here watching these videos with us and spreading this message about, staying sane and healthy over the holidays. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the holidays. It's going to be great. We're going to have all the renovations done. We're going to have a sink. I'm on cloud 9. Like the simple things in life, right?
The simple things, the sink.
I can't wait to go do dishes. I don't think I've ever said that in my life before. All right, Michael, it was a great chatting with you as always. And thank you, everyone who was here live with us.
Thank you.
Fantastic. We can't wait to hear more from you and to continue supporting you, obviously. And stay tuned. We'll be obviously using this space for announcements as we formalize some of the plans we have for the upcoming summit.
We got some big stuff to announce too. We can't do it quite yet.
Mike, shh.
I know.
Leave them
I can't. I gotta get it up.
All right, everyone. Have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you on the next video.
All right. See you guys.